The year is 710, and the place is Japan. A humble but determined ruler has just founded a new capital city, but it's already too late. For centuries, the gods have had their eyes on this land, imbuing it with spiritual power. Now, as the emperor makes his way to the palace, he walks through a literal gateway to the heavens, and all around him are the trappings of a divine right to rule. In order to accomplish this, he must first establish a strong base of power in the heart of Japan, a place where he can draw strength from the myths of old and use them to forge a new empire. For centuries, the various clans of Japan fought for supremacy, burning the capital cities to the ground and killing anyone who stood in their way. As a result, many of the common people look upon the emperor and his court with suspicion, wondering if this latest experiment in centralized authority will end in bloodshed like the last. And the emperor knows that winning the loyalty of his subjects will be as difficult as it is vital. So he found the capital at Nara, named for the ancient gods of the land. Along the way, he'll encounter all manner of challenges, from natural obstacles to the remnants of rival clans. But with each victory, the emperor's legend grows, and the people of Nara begin to rally around their new leader. So every year, as the cherry blossoms fall, he holds a festival to honor the gods of old. And with their coffers overflowing, the nobility begin to vie for the emperor's attention. Some wish to fund massive construction projects to prove their worthiness. Others seek to expand the empire's borders and bring more wealth and power to the crown. It is up to the player to decide how the emperor will respond and what kind of Nara he wants to leave behind for future generations. Will it be a shining beacon of prosperity or a tyrannical dictatorship? Only time will tell. The only problem is the gods of old aren't exactly well documented. There are legends of a golden age when the islands were ruled by 8 divine rulers, each more fabulous than the last. But the details are hazy at best. And here, where the Kumono River flows from north to south, he built his court. Did the first humans come from the stars? Were the islands shaped by the battles of the gods? Each myth has a unique story, some of which feature cameos from well-known figures in Japanese mythology. But each version ends the same way, with the deification of the first emperor and the establishment of the Yamato dynasty. With a renewed sense of purpose, the emperor returns to the palace, ready to chart the course of his new empire. Or did divine beings rise up out of the sea to claim the land for their own? If the emperor is to win their loyalty, he must show them, not tell them, that he is the rightful heir to the gods. And so he sets about proving his divine right to rule. But in order to do so, he must travel to the 4 corners of his domain and subdue the spirits of the land. Some are benevolent and eager to help, while others are malevolent and will oppose the emperor's every step of the way. Depending on the player's choice, the oracle will tell a different story, one that will shape not only the culture of Nara, but also its relationship with the rest of Japan. But these imperial trappings mean little if you don't have the wealth to back them up. And the surrounding provinces are in no mood to pay their new capital any heed. Can the emperor make Japan his own, or will the nation simply fall into chaos? Welcome to Nara, where the great emperors of myth have become flesh and blood. By 794, myth had laid the foundation for an empire. To the east, there's the Tadaiji Temple complex, which houses the Buddha and was once the center of the imperial court. And in the north, there's Kasuga Taisha, a shrine dedicated to the gods of light and fertility, whose influence helped bring the emperor's forces to this very spot. These three locations will play a major role in the game, both narratively and mechanically, but for now, they stand as silent witnesses to a past that refuses to stay buried. The capital moved to Nara, and Japan's history began in full. Take a moment to pan across the new Nara capital. On the far side of the valley, court nobles stroll along a causeway. In the distance, pagodas scrape the clouds, and in the upper right, way off in the distance, the faint but distinct echo of gods fades into the rising sun. As we move from right to left, the camera will stop on each of the 3 points of interest, giving the player an early glimpse of what this city has to offer. To the west, there's the Great Buddha, built in 749. This massive statue is one of the world's largest and an enduring image of Nara. After centuries of warfare, the Yamato clan has emerged victorious, and their emperor has set about the task of uniting the nation under a single banner. But even as the palace walls were raised, voices of dissent echoed throughout the land. In order to temper these doubts, the emperor has decreed that the wisdom of the ancients will guide the decisions of his court. As such, when the emperor sits down to consult the oracle of the gods, he must choose between several possible myths, each of which paints a different picture of the past. And as the emperor listens to the words of the oracle, the screen will fade to black, giving way to a brief animated sequence. But the oracle's words have done little to calm the fears of the populace. The further the emperor travels, the more the screen will shift towards an overhead perspective, allowing the player to control the emperor directly. As the emperor's power grows, so does the wealth of the Nara court.